We're joined on it now by Ray Doherty. Good morning to you, Ray.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for working with us and helping us to keep the Mica issue on the agenda in all of its forms. Now, how long has it been clear to you that your house is infected with these blocks?
Well, you kind of knew from after the big freeze in 2010, 2011, the house started deteriorating rapidly, like spider cracks going everywhere. But we were like everybody else, we were oblivious to what the real problem was. And as it progressed and houses started to deteriorate, people started talking about Mica, and then it became a reality that we had Mica. And only for the Mica scheme, the people that got that up and going and fought to where they fought to, it wouldn't have been highlighted at all. And once we got the test done, then last June we got our test done, and it came back positive. We Mica inside and out, and on our foundations too. So they were giving us the option. They were trying to make us do an outer brick, and I wasn't happy with it at all, Greg. I turned around and my wife wasn't happy. And as it progressed and as you thought about it, you started noticing the cracks inside, and they started getting worse and worse. And then they've actually got that bad now that they're actually falling. They're coming off the wall. It's falling off the wall.
Can I ask you about the foundations? Because did you actually get the foundations tested? And how unusual? No. You didn't? No.
No, we didn't get. But the reason I'm saying to you about the foundation is my house has got porcelain tiles in the kitchen floor. And 2010, 2011, I was down, me and my wife were down having breakfast during one of the big freezes. And I noticed, I started hearing this kind of popping noise. And I says, God, what? This was about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I said, what the hell's that? So I got up, and the tiles in the floor, where they're flat like that, started coming up like this.
Jeez.
Started coming up. So my tiles are all hollow now, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up, we didn't know about the Mica at this time. We didn't know it was Mica. So I got the insurance company in, Greg, and they came down and they looked at it. All my tiles, they're still down. The tiles are still down. They're all hollow. When you walk on them, they're all loose. And he came on and he looked at it and he turned around and he says, no, it's just faulty workmanship. So they didn't cover that anyway. And it was only over the years then where my skirting boards run with the tile like this. The house is starting to move the gap now towards the west.
Yeah.
They're coming away from the skirting board. So it's actually your foundation's moving. It's shrinking. And the building's actually moving to the west.
So you're not even you're looking at a full demolition, but also obviously those fans have to be rooted out too.
Yeah, they would, for definite. I would anybody that's got Mica, they go the whole way. I know it's going to be tough. I don't have the money, Greg. I'm like everybody else, but you're not safe living in a house like that. Like I've basement slab 2 upstairs and I've 3 young children too, and it's tough.
Do you still use upstairs in that situation, or do you prefer upstairs? Or because, like, every time I have a conversation, Ray, about a basement slab with people, especially in a situation like yours where the internal leaf is showing signs of deterioration, this weight, I mean, if you're talking about your house moving to the west, like, do you know, if you make, say, for instance, you make a house of cards, you know, when you put that card on top of the 2 cards and it moves to one side, and then there comes a point where surely the weight accelerates that. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm a worrier, but I don't think I could sleep in that house.
I do. I'd be like that, but my wife now, fair play to her, has got a very good look on it. She would turn around, like I would stress and worry about it, but she would turn around and say, it's not the end of the world. Like we've all got our health and we're all keeping well.
And she's right, but it's not easy to keep that mentality all the time, Ray. Yeah. Right, so listen, that's kind of the background, but reason really why we're talking today, Ray, though it's good to have the more broader conversations about insurance and insurance on properties. And what's the situation there with your family?
Right, Greg, I've been thinking this for a long time. I've been lying in bed at night and I was thinking it and I was asking the question, but nobody could really tell you the answer to it. So I took it upon myself to contact the insurance company back in October, the start of October, and I got on to them and I asked them, my house has been diagnosed with Mica. It has to be demolished. What way do I stand with my house policy? So the wee girl couldn't really answer the question. She says, look, I'm going to have to go upstairs with us. I'm going to have to go to hire people, and can I come back to you? And I says, that's no problem, but if you could try and do it with a kind of an urgency, because I want to know if I'm paying a policy and the policy is no good to me, how many people out there, Greg, with Mica, our insurance companies actually taking the money from them, and them knowing that these people probably do have Mica, and it's like a con. So anyway, the wee girl went away, and she came back to me a couple of days later with an email saying that my house wasn't covered for Mica, and they might be able to cover me for the goods inside the house. So I went back there again then, and I said, so my house isn't covered now for the outer, for the building, if it went on fire, God forbid. And she says, no. And I said, so when can you tell me if you'll be covering me for
the contents, they call it, isn't it?
Yeah, the content, that's right, the contents. And she came back then a couple of days later, and Friday they came back to me, or Thursday, and they says they don't know if they'll be able to cover me for the contents of the house neither. And I said, so what are you telling me? She says, I don't think they're going to cover you, but I'll come back to you again with an email, and I'll send you a letter out. So I haven't got the letter yet, but she just basically says you're not going to be covered, and that my policy was no good. So I said to her then, I said, right, I was diagnosed with Mica back in 2020.
Rebate.
Yeah, and I says, is there going to be a remittance for me paying that policy? She couldn't answer that either.
So in the event, God forbid, of a washing machine leaking and flooding the house, or God forbid, particularly a fire, and you had went to make a claim, is it the sense that you're getting that they would have said, well, your insurance is invalid?
Yeah, Greg, this is one of the key points, and this is why people with Mike out there are going to have to listen to this, because this is very, very dangerous for anybody living in it, right? Because they've got it on the policy, and the first thing, God forbid, if your house did go on fire or anything really bad did happen, they're going to come in and they're going to ask, do you have Mica? They're going to ask for the test. If you've got your house tested, you're going to be done then right away.
What's your premium? Around 300 or something like that, is it?
It'll be about 450 or something.
Right,
yeah.
So 450. Let's just work this out potentially. €450 by 6,000 seems to be the figure that's going around. We're talking about insurance companies then taking in annually from Mica-affected homeowners €2,700,000. If everyone say we put a 6,000 figure property on it, and everyone's playing around about 450, 2.7 million. That until we get clarification, we can't be sure that that's actually money that will afford anyone to make a claim on for. And this is not about claiming for Mica. Anything that happens to the house, the flooding, a fire, anything like that might happen.
Yeah, 100%.
That's quite significant, isn't it?
Yeah. Another thing, Greg, too, is we've been moved to demolition, right? I only found this out again the weekend, that we have to now appoint an architect to demolish our house. We have to pay for the replanning of your building. This is even if you're building the same house. You have to apply for the replanning of a house. You have to put on your advertisement, planning application onto the paper. And there's another catch here, but to me, everywhere you turn, Greg, and this whole Mica scheme, it's just costing you money, and it's money people don't have. And I know, talking to people that have got nothing, and their hearts are just sunk, and it's like we're not even being helped at all.
See, this is the thing. If you have money, you don't realise what it's like to live. And I know all about this for a long time. That say something major happens, say your washing machine goes, or say the gearbox goes in the car, you know, that €300 or €400 type bill.
Yeah,
the money's not there for it, right? So, and it you know, and then you've got the back to school, the huge cost of that. You've got Christmas and all of those type of things, and they're coming every month. It feels like, right? So, like, where would someone get the money to go through the planning process again, or to engage an architect again? They're sitting there going, I can't even do that, and yet, you know, it's painted as if this is all about people with mansions on the hill. You know, you've heard that whole saying. It's just a complete misunderstanding of what the reality is to live squeezed, you know, with no extra money. Enough, maybe, most people hopefully have enough to tick along, but not enough to take on, you know, costs of €500 or €600, let alone 10, 20 or 30,000.
Exactly, Greg. We're living, everybody now, the way I see it now is people live week to week, month to month. There's nobody out there now that's got this money that they're throwing around and hasn't been able to do that. We turned around, Greg, and we bought our house we had a beautiful house and we sold it, right? And in 2008, we bought the house we bought then, was this house we've got now, was our dream home. And we thought we were in a pig's back, like. We put a lot of money into the house and we'd done it up. Me and my wife done it ourselves. And like, you look at it now and you go, you look at your children and you think, my God, it's tough.
Right, okay, it is, Ray, and I think hopefully it's a little bit better now that we're all talking about it, and there's a lot of people pulling in the one direction, and we still have to, hopefully, things like the fees that you're talking about, hopefully they'll be covered in this announcement that the government's going to make at some point in the not too distant future, but we've no guarantee on that. We don't know that at this point.
No, don't know it at all. And you're kind of left in limbo.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Greg, I've been banging on to TDs, right? I've been sending emails regularly. And out of the TDs I've sent, I'm not going to name them, right? But the TDs that I've sent the emails to, one TD came back to me out of it all. And one TD invited down to my house to come and see the destruction and the damage. That one TD came down, and I can name him if it's all right to name him.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
He's the only one that took it up and looked after it and came down, and it was Patrick McLaughlin and Pierce Stardy. The two of them came back to me, and he came down without a second thought. And the other TDs didn't even bother acknowledging my emails or anything. And I think, and the way I look at it, Craig, is we run our own business here in Moville, right? We employ people. Our taxes are paying their wages. Them people that are running our country are employed by us, the people of this country, me and you, the taxpayer. And they think they can turn around and ignore you and not help you out, or they take ridiculous wages and then they can't even speak to you when you go to try and get it.
Yeah, it feels like insult to injury, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Right, what business is it, Ray?
Moville Clothing Company.
Right, where can people get more information if they want to support your business? What's the website or Facebook?
On www.movilleclothing.com.
Okay, brilliant.
We make in the factory, like, and great, take us all over the world.
Good stuff. Continued success with that. That's not what you came on for, but it's might as well get the plug in while we're here.
Greg, it's tough running a business too. You're paying a lot of money. You're paying a lot of money to these people.
I don't want to sort of frustrate you even further, but obviously, you know, you're paying your rates and your water rates, and they're going to the council. And I don't think I need to fill the gaps in for you there. Listen, Ray, when you get further contact back from the insurance company, you'll stay in touch with us. Let us know, will you?
No problem. I'll actually sent me here with the faulty workmanship, so they've got it all down here and what they don't cover, and it's in very, very small rate. Yeah. Beyond me now at this stage, I would say. All right, listen, thanks, Ray. I appreciate your time this morning. That is Ray Doherty there. He is concerned now that he's been paying insurance for a long time, but is the house covered? They're suggesting even the contents wouldn't be covered. Now, if he made a claim, would they sort of have invoked the small print in that? As I say, you know, I don't think I'm exaggerating until such time as we get clarity. Say 6,000 houses paying around about €450 each, maybe less, but maybe more. That's 2.7 million going to insurance companies. Do we have insurance cover for that 2.7 million? Have you had difficulties in making a claim that is not, you know, a claim that a problem that has actually been caused by these blocks, but, you know, something else with the property? Was there any issues there? Did you have to declare to them that you had Mica, etc. 086 60 25,000 WhatsApps and texts. Thanks again to Ray there, by the way. Great speaker, of course.